Dan, if you could be in a band, like a big rock band, like a major thing, would you be lead singer, guitar, drums, bass, laying in the background, keyboard, background singer maybe, like background vocals? What would you be if you could be in a huge band?
Well, are we in this hypothetical universe? Does my talent knows no bounds, and also like
you could be as good or as bad as you want to.
Well, then I'd be the lead singer.
Okay.
And so would every bass player.
If
they could.
No, I feel like there are people.
Otherwise, why are they on stage? I wish I was singing.
I know people, their personalities, they would rather be slightly.
I don't believe that's true at all. Rock bands are like 5 people. Like if you show me the second chair violinist, the L.A. Philharmonic, I'll believe that she doesn't wish that she was David Lee Roth. I don't believe that Dave Grohl didn't wish he was Kurt Cobain.
Hot Nazis is fucking right on time.
I don't believe it. I think rock bands are the reason they're fun to watch is because there's 5 dudes who all hate each other and wish that they.
I know musicians that are happy, like they're happy as like I want to be on stage, but I would never want the onus of being the front man, a front woman. But
why is it an onus if you're so good? That's why I asked. Am I so good that I don't have to worry about shit? Then yeah, I'll take all the attention.
Like Keanu Reeves told me we were very drunk in Vegas one time. He's like,
holy crap.
He's like, his favorite thing is playing bass. He likes playing bass and he doesn't charm the crowd. He doesn't rock out. He just hangs his head down. This is back in the Dog Star days, which is a long time ago. And he goes, he's like, Jeff, being in a band is the greatest thing in the world. Like, he'd rather do that than be a movie star. If he had his way, he would be second fiddle, hair in his face, and no one knew that.
That doesn't mean that if God came down with a magic wand and touched his throat and made him sound like Frank Sinatra, he wouldn't be like, I still just want to play bass. He'd be oh shit, I guess I'm the best at this.
But a lot of drummers that I know don't want to be up front.
But are they good singers?
Huh?
Are they good singers?
No, they want to drum. They want to do that.
I know, but if they could, look at Phil Collins. He's croaking out shit while he's drumming. He's like, ah!
By applause, are there musicians here that don't want to be a lead singer and would rather be doing else?
You're just getting lies. Like it's
you
not.
Called all those people liars just now.
It's not. There's a difference between asking people if you could be at the spotlight, would you take it? And asking them, are you very happy to take a backseat? Like when I was working,
I think there are people that don't want the spotlight under any circumstances.
This is. You're taking a position that's very hard to disagree with without being uncharismatic, because I'm taking the elitist position. But I will say, when I like in support of your point. When I was working on the 81st Oscars, which I guess I probably I was, Jack Black called me down because he wanted me to write his patter, and he was presenting with Jennifer Aniston, and I had a headset on and a little clipboard, and it was like, oh boy, I gotta go down and see Mrs. Aniston and Mr. Black. And they were like, I wrote a joke for them, and then they were like, they didn't like the joke, and I had to rewrite it, and I was in that moment, I was like very activated. I liked it. And if you had stuck a thermometer in me at that point and asked, are you miserable? Do you hate them? Do you wish you were presenting at the Oscars? I wouldn't have said yes. I was happy in my position. I felt supportive. I felt activated. I felt content. That's different from saying, would you switch places with Jennifer Aniston? Which I would.
What's the first thing you would do if you were suddenly Jennifer Aniston?
Oh, so much. I would start by making healthcare socialized.
Why do you think she hasn't already done that?
Yeah, I'm sure she has in her little neck of the woods, but I would use her power for good. I don't know. This conversation is dumb.
No, but I mean, I would suspect that you and I would both want to be lead singers, but there are people that would rather play drums and rather be, right? This guy? Logan. Fucking Logan.
I'm not. I mean, I feel like it's a very uncharismatic thing for me to say that if you are a bass player, you must wish you were a singer. It's different from saying. I don't think that's semantics. Like our language doesn't have the nuance to divide those lines. I'm just saying like. If you like being on stage and you like playing an instrument and you like performing for people in a concert, if a fairy godmother like were able to transform you into a person who had perfect pitch and amazing dance moves or beautiful hair or whatever it is that makes you feel like you don't belong at the very front of the performance, would you then do it? I mean, what? And at a certain point, aren't you actually kind of? I mean, being dishonest if you'd say no. You're like, no, I want to stand behind a lead singer and have everyone pointing at me and going, "Let the bass player sing."
I think that would come down to more just personalities, like your own thing. Like let's say you had a great head of hair and a great voice and everything, and you still say, no, I would still like to be a role player, like be the bass player, be the drummer, be the cello, play second violin, like people.
But I think when you're in a band, like you had said before, you should always surround yourself by people that intimidate you. So if you are in a band and you're not like, and the guy that's actually the lead singer, if he's not a guy that you are like, man, I wish I could sing like that, then you're not in the right band. Like if you're like, this kid, he sings like shit, but I'll let him. Like you're in the wrong band. You're actually being an asshole by not quitting that band and going and finding a band where the lead singer is like, holy shit, this guy's a star. So that if you extend that train of thought, it's like, so if you magically if you had those proclivities instead of your bass player proclivities, would you? What position of the band would you play? It's almost like a non-question because it's just sort of like what we want is an identity. We want to be the guy dressed as Deadpool. We want to be the guy that got fired by NBC. We want to be the Mario guy, the guy dressed as a banana. We want to have a role. Tasha wants to build her roofs. All you want is a function, and to know that you're nailing it, that you're doing the most you can, and that if you're not succeeding as much as you can, that you're still trying and getting better. Everyone wants to feel that way all the time.
I don't think Keith Moon wanted to be Roger Daltrey. I think Keith Moon liked being Keith Moon.
You're just using examples that are. I mean, you're.
But there's also like a garage band that's just doing it for fun, who's never gonna, want to do actual shows. There's a couple bands like that, right?
There's like three, I think. Three.
I don't want to be Dan.
I know, just without trying to goad the crowd, I know there are musicians here that would be happily never the lead singer for.
We're talking in circles. I've circumscribed this whole thing, and I'm smarter than everyone in the world. Like I encompass the way everyone here feels. I already feel that way, and more. That's the bottom line. I feel everything. I know what it's like to be black.
What's it like, Dan?
It's hard, but cool.
That tracks.
Salty. And a little sweet.
All right, Dan, okay, let's say that you were in the Philharmonic, like in a big orchestra.
Jesus. Okay.
Where it's not about like first chair, second. You can be first chair, anything you want. What instrument would you play if you could
Tuba.
play Tuba?
Yeah.
Tuba or sousaphone?
No, fuck you guys.
For real?
Straight up tuba.
Proper tuba.
Yep.
Tuba snap.
Yeah, because then you're in and out.
Are you?
Because how many songs have like a tuba solo? You just show up and you're like, just be the best tuba player.
Tuba is like the bass player of the band. It's a bass instrument.
Yeah, so we're talking in circles here. Like
you want to be a bass
There's
player.
no lead singer in a symphony. There is no.
That's what I'm asking.
There's no superstar.
You answered my question. I was like, you would like to play a kind of not upfront instrument, like
It's a specific flavor because I would want to stand out. Hope, 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 hope. And then
shit! Keep it
there's
going.
the tuba. Because like if you were like the best violinist in the world, then your friend comes to see the concert and you get off stage and they're like, good good job. And you're like, how do you know, you dick? There's like 8 violinists up there. All right, let's move on.